Hey, this is Ray at the Tower E-Bike Repair Shop. Today we are going over our Sondors Fold X brake system. So we're gonna kind of give you a rundown of the brakes, explain how to adjust these brakes and how to keep them good for riding. First off, the Fold X uses the Tektro Aris brake system. It's a mechanical brake system. Mechanical brake systems do require a fair amount of maintenance. If you ride your bike regularly, you can expect to have to adjust these brakes at least every 2 weeks. The primary adjustment you're gonna do on the brakes is the inner pad adjustment. I will go over that here in just a minute. You will also have to deal with some cable stretch if you just took the bike out of the box and rode it for the first few times. So we can go over how to do cable stretch adjustment. You may also need to center the brake caliper on the rotor. So I'll go over that really quickly too. So first we're gonna just kind of go over the brakes, show you where they are, what they do. So we got the front brake here. This is your primary caliper. It's cable actuated. So when you pull the cable on this brake, it only actuates the outer pad. So that means this little lever here is kind of corkscrewing in and it's pushing the outer pad in and forcing on the rotor, which forces the rotor over slightly to make contact with the inner pad. So it's important that you get the inner pad as close to the rotor as possible. The way you do that is with this little adjuster here. So this requires a 5mm Allen wrench. What I generally do is I screw this in until it doesn't move, and then I back it out until it stops rubbing. Now for some reason this brake is rubbing a lot. So if that's the case, then we're gonna go ahead and start this adjustment by centering the caliper. So we're gonna be operating the front brake. We're gonna squeeze the handle. Going to loosen both the caliper mounting bolts. I'm going to squeeze the handle, and then we're going to gently snug, and then gently snug again. And if you really want to make sure it's perfectly centered, just gently snug 2 times until you get the last time where you tighten it all the way. Now that should be centered, so the pads are lined up with the rotor. I'm still getting a little drag there. So I can go back to the inside here and I can just unscrew one more click and now the drag is gone. We're gonna make sure our cable tension bolt is tight, and I've got a little bit of extra play there, so I'll probably just go ahead and adjust it down here to take all the play out of that and then just have a tiny little bit of drag, but the wheel's still spinning pretty good. So that's adjusting the front brake. We'll go and do the rear brake the same way. Again, we're going to center our brakes. And I can just manually actuate this, but I got to be careful not to twist it myself. This takes a little bit more skill than just pulling the lever, but I'm going to go ahead and do this way. And again, just gently snugging up couple of times to keep it centered, and then getting my final tension, spinning my wheel, checking for deflection. You do have quite a bit of deflection, so I can turn this in until it starts to drag and back it out one. So there we are. We'll check this tension here, and this is already adjusted good. So that's our rear brake adjustment. So this inner pad adjustment, you're going to have to adjust quite a bit. Like I said, at least once every 2 weeks if you ride your bike regularly. That's your primary concern with mechanical disc brakes, is just keeping that inner pad adjusted. If you don't, then you start to get a lot of deflection in the rotor, which wears off the top and bottom sides of the pads, creates uneven pad wear, creates squealing, creates all kinds of issues. Hopefully that explains how to adjust your Tektro Aris brakes on your Sondors Fold X well enough for you guys to figure that out. This has been Ray at the Tower E-Bike Repair Shop.